When locating Cape Verde on a map, hover over the western part of Africa to the left of Senegal. Now start zooming. Keep zooming. Keep going till you finally see that cluster of dots. That is Cape Verde. You've got to zoom in about 3 times more than you need to for any other World Cup qualifying country in order to locate the tiny African island nation. But their size is what makes their World Cup accomplishment feel even more remarkable. Welcome to Kickback Soccer Media's World Cup Capsules, where we'll learn everything you need to know about all 48 of the national teams competing at the 2026 World Cup, from the history of the game, the nation's current World Cup trajectory, unsung heroes, and cultural moments. I'm David Goss, and today I'm excited because we are talking about the Blue Sharks of Cape Verde. While the jump from 38 to 48 teams at this tournament has drawn criticism fairly, one of the positives is the expanded field means that we get to see some minnows who have never been here before, like Cape Verde, where a World Cup group stage appearance used to feel like a far-off pipe dream. It's now a reality. But despite the Cinderella feel of it all, Cape Verde's qualification has been no fluke. More than a decade of strategic dual national recruitment, a manager laser-focused on building a cohesive identity, and a commitment to professionalization and infrastructure inside the country have been the keys to Cape Verde's rise. Here's some quick facts first for anyone who needs to brush up. Cape Verde is a small archipelago of volcanic islands off the coast of Senegal. The country is made up of 10 separate islands, each with completely different climates and scenery. One's literally uninhabited. The other ranges from lush green, white sand beaches, to desert, to volcanoes. Portuguese and Cape Verdean Creole are the 2 nationally recognized languages. At the time of their qualification, Cape Verde was the smallest landmass country to ever qualify, just beat out in this World Cup cycle by Curacao. It's the second smallest population to ever qualify for a World Cup when they did so, just behind Iceland with 525,000 people. Cape Verde became an independent country from Portugal in 1975, and it all started with its national football program right after. In fact, the first place that a Cape Verde flag was ever flown was at Estádio da Várzea, the former national team stadium. The nation was literally born on the pitch. They played their first international game against neighbors Guinea-Bissau in 1979. A professional domestic league was fully recognized by FIFA then in 1986, but there are Cape Verdean clubs like CS Mindalense and FC Derby that date back to the 1920s. The national team played its first non-African nation in 2002, a scoreless friendly against Luxembourg. Cape Verde qualified for its first AFCON in 2013, literally just over a decade ago, where they reached the quarterfinals, and they've made 3 AFCONs since. That 2013 appearance marked a sea change in the way Cape Verde recruited their players. Thanks to a history of severe droughts, scarce natural resources, and limited opportunities, Cape Verde has a history of mass migrations, and in turn, it therefore has a large diaspora population around the world. Some of the game's legends actually would have qualified to represent Cape Verde at the international level if they had chose to. Portugal's Nani is one of the most famous, but Cristiano Ronaldo also could have played for Cape Verde. Nuno Mendes and Renato Sanchez. Sweden's Henrik Larsson was Cape Verde eligible, as were 2 of France's powerhouses, Patrick Vieira and Patrice Evra. They all could have worn the Blue Shark jersey. This team has now tapped into this diaspora population, kicking off really after 2013 AFCON qualification. There are huge populations of Cape Verde diaspora citizens in Rotterdam, the Netherlands, New England, around the Boston, Rhode Island area, Portugal, of course, France, and even Ireland, where they went and recruited Roberto Lopes from Shamrock Rovers, literally doing so on LinkedIn. The last 2 windows of World Cup qualifying for 2026, 14 of the 25 players on the roster were originally from the diaspora. But Cape Verde has used programs to tap into possible FIFA funding to build 3 new training facilities for players inside the country at $8 million. That strategy has led to a massive period of success. The last 10 years have been unmatched, historic. They've been inside FIFA's top 100 the whole time, and they've risen as high as 27 in the rankings. The look back at qualifying for 2026 is going to be a fun one for any Cape Verdean fan. It's their first World Cup ever. They qualified outright, topping Group D in CAF qualifying. In the final round of qualifying, they only lost 1 game. They knocked off 5-time African champions Cameroon. They could have clinched in the second to last game at Libya, but had to score 2 late goals just to get a tie. But that set up the dramatic final 3-0 win at home to Eswatini to clinch and start the party. Head coach Pedro Bubista Brito, who guided his team through an unbeaten campaign, dedicated the qualification to the people. Quote, "Giving this happiness to these people is enormous," he said. It's a victory for all Cape Verdeans. And we saw it around the world. It sparked celebration from Brockton, Massachusetts to Lisbon, Portugal. Most national team players have a mix of experience in Europe's lower leagues and divisions. There are Cape Verdean national team players in Ireland, Israel, and Romania. Only one player, Logan Costa, plays in what we consider a top 5 European league with Villarreal. This national team draws heavily on its diaspora players, and mixing them with native Cape Verdeans could be tricky. For some nations, we have seen countries like Jamaica struggle, but not for Cape Verde. Manager Bobista has prioritized building a strong Cape Verdean identity. He requires players to speak Cape Verde Creole. Quote, "It's the official language of the national team," Bobista said. "Some players used to speak only English, but now they've learned Creole. Sometimes the guys try to speak other languages among themselves, but I don't allow it, to keep our Cape Verdean identity intact." The future of Cape Verde is bright out of this first World Cup qualification, and a lot of that is because of the quality of Dylon Livramente, a 24-year-old born in Rotterdam. He's currently on the books at Hellas Verona, but with Portugal's Casa Pia on loan. He scored the opening goal and winner to clinch qualifying and led them in World Cup qualifying across the round with 4 goals. His mom, Maurizia do Rosario, is an Italian-born Cape Verdean singer who had a massive hit in Cape Verde, and his brother's musical as well, part of a Dutch hip-hop group. While the Blue Sharks might have a thin history in the game, they do have one big legend, and his name is Lito. Born in Cape Verde right before independence, his family moved and he was raised in Portugal. He has more than 200 appearances in his career in the Portugal's top flight. He was one of the first high-profile foreign developed players to choose to represent the Blue Sharks. He had 47 caps and 7 goals in his career. But a lot of his legacy is for the work he did off the field. After he declared for Cape Verde, he started recruiting himself other Portuguese-born or based players. And in 2002, that started the process that really kicked on after 2013. You could argue that Cape Verde's greatest soccer moment is just around the corner as they prepare to appear in their first World Cup, fly the flag, and hear the anthem in an unmatched way. But if you had to go back and pick another one, it would be one of the big results that got them here. The 1-0 upset over Cameroon at home to clear a path to qualification. They, of course, have had other huge moments in AFCON play. In their AFCON debut in 2013, they drew the opener versus South Africa in Johannesburg in front of 50,000 people. They then drew Morocco and beat Angola 2-1 in the final group stage match to qualify for the quarterfinals. They went on to lose to Ghana there. In 2023, they beat Ghana for revenge in the opening match. Then they drew the top winners in AFCON history, Egypt, in their final game to seal knockout qualification. At this point, AFCON had added an extra round where they beat Mauritania in the round of 16 before eventually losing in penalty kicks to South Africa. Despite the small size of the country, soccer is everything in Cape Verde, and this World Cup appearance is only going to increase that. The government declared a half holiday upon qualification. Quote, Independence Day and the 13th of January, 1991, when the first multi-party elections were held, are the two symbolic dates that have united our people, said Jose Maria Silva, the National Director of State Protocol. But this World Cup qualification can already be considered the third defining moment of our nation. We love to leave you with some fun facts as well as expectations at the end of every one of our podcasts. For expectations, just getting there is a victory alone for Cape Verde. But as we've seen at their AFCON appearances, they're never overawed by the moment. Your first ever AFCON playing South Africa in Johannesburg to get a result shows the fight that's in this team, as does their 2023 appearance. We know they'll have massive support because of the huge diaspora communities, especially in the New England area. They might be able to steal a result at this World Cup. If you want to get in the vibe, the mood for Cape Verde, try some cachupa. It is the national dish. It's a slow-cooked stew based of corn and beans with an assortment of meats or fish, cassava, squash, and greens. It is famously eaten for breakfast as leftovers with a fried egg, and it looks delicious. Well, that's it for Cape Verde. Thank you for listening, but keep tuning in. We are doing one of these for all 48 nations that have qualified for the 2026 World Cup. You can find them wherever you get your podcasts.